Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, wherever you may be viewing this telecast. You're watching Channel 22 Sports, Lawndale Community Cable. This afternoon from Hawthorne, California, it's Hawthorne Cougars Baseball. This afternoon, the Cougars of Hawthorne will be hosting the visiting Leuzinger Olympians in this key Ocean League contest here at Hawthorne Field. Well, this is Dave Marks with Channel 22 Sports. We're getting set for another good one. These two teams played a one-run ball game, a 4-3 Hawthorne victory the other day, a game that saw Hawthorne up their league leading record to 7-0. They're tied at 7-0 with Redondo in the Ocean League. They're 14-1 overall. Leuzinger Olympians on a little bit of a slide. They've had some tough luck their last couple of ball games. They've now lost 3 in a row and 3 heartbreaking losses. They are 5-9 overall and 2-5 in league. It should be another good pitching matchup. We did have a very good pitching matchup the other afternoon. This afternoon, you are going to see Charles Boyden walking in there for the Leuzinger Olympians, and Ricky Barba is going to be on the mound for the Hawthorne Cougars. So a couple of days ago down at Leuzinger, these two teams played to a 4-3 ball game. Hawthorne jumped out with 3 runs in the first inning. They led 4-0. Leuzinger clawed their way back on the big bat of David DeLeon, who had 2 home runs in that ball game. He had a solo home run in the 7th inning, and for Leuzinger's perspective, they're probably feeling, gee, if they could have just had somebody on base when he hit those home runs, it would have been a lot more effective. And there was a well-pitched ball game between Eddie Arciniega and Vince Vigueras. Eddie Arciniega, pitching star of the ball game, picking up his 5th win on the year for Hawthorne, struck out 13 Olympians in that ball game. He did give up 3 earned runs, so his ERA goes up just a little slightly. And the tough luck loser in that ball game was Vince Vigueras, who dropped his record to under 500. Hawthorne Cougars in the home white today, having one of their better years in a long time. Weather-wise, couldn't ask for a much better day. Temperature is going to be in the low 70s, right about 70 degrees. Not too much wind out there to speak of this afternoon, which means the ball could be flying around the yard, depending on how these pitchers are able to read, how the batters are able to read the pitchers. Ball game the other day, 3 home runs, 2 for Leuzinger, 1 for Hawthorne. We mentioned David DeLeon hitting the 2 home runs for the Leuzinger Olympians, and for the Hawthorne Cougars, Tommy Salvatierra had a home run in the first inning. Tommy Salvatierra's shot was really hit off of Vince Vigueras, and he said that Salvatierra says he knows Vince Vigueras, knows him pretty well, has played in leagues with him, figured he was going to get a fastball, was looking for the fastball and got it. Jeff Hines with his team taking the field, and they've had a very successful season. As we're going to take a look at the defense now for the Hawthorne Cougars, that is Francisco Ponce, who will play third base today. He'll be DH'd playing for defense. Ricky Barba on the mound. We'll come to him last. I think we're going to see Eddie Arciniega at short. Eddie Arciniega will be the next man. He's around at short. There you see Eddie Arciniega at his normal position, winning pitcher the other day. Francisco Fernando is at second base. He's a fine leadoff hitter for these Cougars. Larry Williams will be around at first base. That's Larry Williams getting the start at first. As we go into the big outfield, out and left will be Angel Lopez. Angel Lopez has been having a fine year defensively and, actually that's right field. Okay, well, we'll go to right field. That's Paul Newton in right field. Paul Newton, one of the newcomers on this team this year. Second in the outfield and center field, Marcus McNeil, who plays on the varsity basketball team. And Angel Lopez, we'll finally see Angel, I do believe. Is there an Angel in the outfield? Well, he's catching with Marcus McNeil. And we've yet to see Angel. He's out there. Let's take our word for it. He's there. Behind the plate will be Tommy Salvatierra. And Ricky Barba will be on the mound this afternoon. Ricky Barba getting the start. As you see, Tommy Salvatierra. And we'll take a look at Ricky Barba's record. Ricky Barba 4-0, having a fine season. And he's pitched a total of 26 innings, allowed 2 runs. And 1 of them was earned. He's given up 10 hits, 24 strikeouts, walked 12, and he has an amazing .27 earned run average. So that's what the Leuzinger Olympians are going to be up against this afternoon. They saw 13 strikeouts thrown by Eddie Arciniega the other day. Now they will face Ricky Barba. And the Leuzinger Olympian lineup will be as follows. Antolino Dorado will lead it off. Charles Boyden will be batting second. Vince Figueres will be hitting third. Guillermo Beltran will be hitting cleanup. Jose Ibarra hitting fifth. David De Leon, of the 2 home runs, moves up to the 6th spot. Joey Vela, the designated hitter. Miguel Melgoza, 8th. And David Treat in the 9 hole. As we get set to start, Ricky Barba delivering to Antolino Dorado. And that's on the inside corner for a call, strike 1, ball game underway. Mike Collins is doing the balls and strikes. And Alonzo Lenar is the umpire in the field. Ricky Barber quickly ahead, 0-1 against Dorado. And that's on the outer half of the plate, missing the plate, 1 ball and 1 strike. Antolino Dorado hitting 167, 4 for 24 on the year. Fouls that pitch off, 1 ball and 2 strikes. A lot of Leuzinger Olympians have been having problems getting off in early parts of the ball game. They have been a comeback, late ball game sort of team. And of course, their coach Joel Romero would like to turn that around, like to see if they could get off a little quicker than they have in past performances. 1-2 pitch from Barber that's chopped on the infield. And it's going to be a long throw by Arciniega, and he gets it in time. So Eddie Arciniega making the long throw. Dorado retired. Good play there in the hole by Eddie Arciniega, who is normally the starting shortstop, and he, of course, does some of the pitching as well. So with 1 away, Charles Boyden will be the batter. Charles Boyden hitting .290. Facing Ricky Barba. And it's a curveball in there for a call strike. 0-1. Charles Boyden has 5 doubles to lead the Leuzinger Olympians. 0-1 pitch. And he drops that one in there for a call, strike 2. Had it in a good spot. Vince Figueres waiting on deck. 0-2 pitch. Slider misses low, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Barber's 1-2. That's outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ball game the other day, Charles Boyden was 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a walk against Eddie Arciniega. Two pitch here. And he got him looking. So Charles Boyden caught looking. First strikeout on the afternoon by Ricky Barba. And strikeout number 25 on the season. So with 2 away, Vince Figueres will be the batter. Vince Figueres, the #1 hitter on the Leuzinger Olympians team. He has been the only Olympian who has been fairly consistent all year, hitting .333. 14 for 42, leads the team in hits as he watches ball 1. He leads the Leuzinger Olympians in many offensive categories, hits and at-bats. Tied for the lead in doubles with Charles Boyden with 5. As that one's grounded toward the hole, Ponce will cut it off. Will have to make a strong throw. And a nice play at first base by Williams, and they go in order. So a fairly easy inning for Ricky Barba. 1/2 in the books here at Hawthorne. It is Leuzinger nothing. Hawthorne Cougars coming to bat. Back with the bottom of the first in a moment. Looking at things defensively for the Leuzinger Olympians. On the infield, David De Leon will be at third. Vince Figueres at short. Antolino Dorado at second. Miguel Melgoza, who's made some fine scoops at first base. In the outfield will be Jose Franco. He's being DH'd for. As we take a look at the infield positions there. Jose Ibarra will be in center. And Guillermo Beltran. As you look at Jose Franco in left field. There's center field Jose Ibarra. And right field Guillermo Beltran down the right field line. In the infield, David Treat And on the mound will be Charles Boyden. So that's your defensive setup. Taking a look at the lineup for the Hawthorne Cougars, it'll be facing Charles Boyden. Hawthorne Cougars will lead it off with Fernando Franco. Angel Lopez will be hitting second. Ricky Barber third. Tommy Salvatierra will be hitting fourth. Larry Williams fifth. Eddie Arciniega sixth. Alex Cabrera in the DH spot hitting seventh. Paul Newton batting eighth. And Marcus McNeil batting ninth. And they are facing Charles Boyden, whose father, Skip Boyden, is one of the assistant coaches for the Leuzinger Olympians. Charles Boyden 2-4 on the year, has a 2.38 ERA, struck out 46 altogether, so rather high strikeout ratio as he faces Fernando Franco, who's a fairly good leadoff hitter. Fernando Franco, one of these newcomers for the Hawthorne Cougars, who's been having a very good year. Fernando Franco hitting .385. That's grounded toward the right side. Dorado should have it. And there's one gone. Well, if things hold true to form, this is going to be a very good pitching matchup. You're seeing two very good pitchers this afternoon in Ricky Barber for Hawthorne and Charles Boyden for the Leuzinger Olympians. Fernando Franco retired. This brings up Angel Lopez. Angel Lopez hitting .341. 14 for 41 on the year, facing Boyden. And he'll look at strike one. So far, pitchers getting their stuff over early in the count this afternoon. That's hit to the opposite field. Franco should have it. And there's two away. Jose Franco with a grab. Two quick outs in the bottom of the first, and this brings Ricky Barber to the plate. Ricky Barber on the mound this afternoon. Normally a third baseman when he does not pitch. His batting average a little bit of a dip this season. He's 8 for 28, 286, which is not Ricky Barber-like numbers, as he takes that one inside. He's had 3 doubles, 1 triple, 5 RBIs. But he is having an outstanding year as a pitcher, ERA-wise. Almost been tough to score on. That'll be a foul ball. Knocked down by Hines over there at the third base coaching box. So at the bat, not as productive as Hawthorne fans are used to seeing from him, but on the mound, he has definitely made up for it. And in the ball game the other day, he had 2 hits, a double and a single, 2 RBIs. Here he is behind on the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Waiting on deck, Tommy Salvatierra, who had a big home run, 2-run homer the other day. And that just misses. Charles Boyden thought he would get the call. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. We're in the bottom of the first and no score. 2 neighborhood rivals, and that hits him in the back. Well, the first pitch came close to hitting him inside, and this one simply got away. Because with 2 strikes and 2 outs, you don't believe that Charles Boyden would be intentionally throwing at the batter, but
number 16, the catcher.
He is a hit batsman. Ricky Barber gets first base the hard way, literally. He is somewhat of a threat to run. He's had 2 stolen bases on the year. And Tommy Salvatierra will be the batter. Tommy hitting .444, 16 for 36, 4 home runs. And that home run we saw hit the other day was not a cheap one. He's had 2 doubles, 15 RBIs, scored 16 runs. Up here with 2 outs and a runner on, and facing Charles Boyden. He'll cut at the first pitch, and it's foul tipped, 0-1. Well, when he hit that home run the other day off of Vince Figueres, said he plays in the summer with Vince Figueres. He knows what Vince Figueres throws, and was looking for a fastball. He got it, and he deposited that fastball over the left field fence. That's outside, 1-1. It's always good, just like in basketball and football, some of these players so close to each other in terms of where they live and playing on teams that hard to keep secrets. That's grounded towards second. Backhand play will be made as he steps on the bag. Nice play by Angelino Dorado to stay with it. That had rolled up his arm, but kept it in front of him. and he's able to step on the bag to retire the side. So a hit batsman, one left, through one. In what looks like it's going to be a good game. Hawthorne nothing, Leuzinger nothing. Back with a second in a moment.
Guillermo Beltran.
Top of the second we go, no score. Guillermo Beltran will lead it off for the Leuzinger Olympians. He'll be facing Ricky Barba, who set him down in order in the top of the inning. And that's fastball upstairs, 1-0. Beltran hitting .325. Leads the team in RBIs with 11, 13 for 40. He has good power when he connects. And that one's on the outside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike. Guillermo Beltran, a junior. He's used as a designated hitter and a right fielder, can also pitch. 1-1 from Barba. Lays off and it misses, 2 balls and 1 strike. Jose Ibarra is the on-deck batter. Barba's 2-1 delivery. That's hit in the air to center field. Marcus McNeil almost on his tracks will have to take it on the bounce for the first base hit of the ball game. So lined right into center field. Marcus McNeil taking it on the hop. And the first hit of the afternoon goes to the Leuzinger Olympians. Good hard hit line drive single into center field by Guillermo Beltran. His 14th hit on the year.
Jose Ibarra.
And Jose Ibarra is the batter. Beltran at first base has 1 stolen base. Ibarra hitting .227. Leads the teams in runs scored with 13. And he also leads the team in triples with 2. So Leuzinger with a threat. Nobody out here in the top of the second. Tries to lay off, and it's out of the strike zone. No balls and 1 strike. Hawthorne infield looking for 2. That's out of the strike zone. Timeout called right now as umpire in the field, Alonzo Lenar, is going to talk to Ricky Barba. Looked like he said something about his uniform jersey. Runner on first, Beltran. Nobody out. And that's fouled off. 2 balls and 1 strike, plate umpire says, here on a sunny day in Hawthorne, California. Hope you plan to stay with us. And as we tell you, no matter what sport these two teams play, it is always going to be interesting and well hard fought. 2-1 pitch, that's foul tip, 2 balls and 2 strikes. David DeLeon waiting on deck. And after what David DeLeon did the other day, you have to wonder how nervous Ricky Barba must feel. I say that somewhat tongue-in-cheek, but David DeLeon gave the ball a ride coming out of a slump in a big way the other afternoon. 2-2, nobody out. That's grounded in the hole, and it's going to be into left field past a diving Arciniega for a base hit. So the Leuzinger Olympians with their first 2 on base hits here in the second inning. And here comes David DeLeon.
Number 24, David DeLeon.
DeLeon, he was 2 for 3 the other day, and the 2 hits were 2 long home runs. Hit one over the right center field fence, hit one over the left field fence. Upped his average to 214. He had been on the interstate before that. So he's 6 for 28. Showing some power here. He has an idea about bunting, but will lay off. And of course, he had not been having a good year at the plate. But surprisingly, he leads the team in walks with 13. Bunts this one down the first baseline. And its sacrifice is successful as they almost pull Franco off the bag. Franco covering. So the out is made. The runners move up on the successful sacrifice. And with 1 away, Beltran down to third, Ibarra at second. This will bring Joey Vela to the plate.
Now batter number 10, Joey Vela.
He's had a tough time at the plate. 1 ball and no strikes. He watches this one outside. Vela 1 for 6 on the year, 167. And he struck out 3 times the other afternoon against Eddie Arciniega. Infield is back for Hawthorne, willing to give up a run to prevent a big inning as they throw to third. Play that rarely gets anybody. Outfield is fairly shallow in left and center. But Joey Vela, the designated hitter, has had problems making contact. And doesn't make contact there. No balls and 1 strike. And taking a look at Vela, it looks like he swings very hard. Hard swinger, not able to catch up with the ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Behind him, you have Miguel Melgoza. And Miguel Melgoza is the gentleman that hit the 2 big home runs the other day, not David DeLeon. So my apology there. David DeLeon does lead the team in walks, but it was Melgoza who was in the big batting slump with the 2 home runs, and we'll get to that story in a second. But right now, speaking of slumps, Joey Vela behind, 1 ball and 2 strikes. It has not made contact. There's his first contact in 4 at-bats as he's able to foul tip that one. All Leuzinger needs is to put the ball in play anywhere but back to the mound, and they will score a run. Hawthorne is conceding the run, but the Leuzinger Olympians will have to put the ball in play. 1 and 2. That's foul tip to keep it alive. Runner at third, Guillermo Beltran. He singled to center. Jose Ibarra as a runner at second. He singled in the left field. David DeLeon sacrificed them over. There's 1 out. We're in the top of the second. Nobody in, but Leuzinger with a good threat. 1 ball, 2 strikes, Joey Vela. And he's not going to get it in. That's 4 straight strikeouts swinging for Joey Vela. And Joey Vela, that's 6 strikeouts on the year. 4 in a row, and a big out there recorded by Ricky Barba. So this brings Miguel Melgoza to the plate. Now this is the gentleman that we were referring to who hit the home runs, not David DeLeon. That pitch is outside, and again, so we'll just kind of retrace our steps there for a second. He had been in a 1 for 19 batting slump. And, of course, going 2 for 3 the other day, now 322, hitting 136 with the 2 home runs and 3 RBIs. And they were well-hit home runs. Still batting in the 8th spot. That one's outside, 2 balls and no strikes. And Ricky Barba was at third base for that ball game, so he well knows what Miguel Melgoza did 2 days ago at Leuzinger. And with first base open, and David Treat, the on-deck batter, who has been in a batting slump all year, want to pitch kind of carefully to him. 2 balls and 1 strike. 2 and 1, 2 outs. Leuzinger got their first 2 on. Trying to get something done here. That's in for the strike. Good pitch there by Barba. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Runners on second and third. Can Ricky Barba get out of the jam? Can Miguel Melgoza show more heroics? That's a chopper. It's going to be a tough play. Arciniega has time, though. And a nice play made at first base, and Hawthorne gets out of the jam. So the Leuzinger Olympians get their first 2 on, not able to get anybody across. Good pitching by Ricky Barba to get out of it. And in the middle of the second, it is Leuzinger nothing, Hawthorne nothing. Back with the bottom of the second in a moment. Larry Williams will lead off the bottom of the second here for Hawthorne. No score. Leuzinger Olympians had a good opportunity in the top of the inning, but Ricky Barba managing to wiggle out of it with a strikeout and a ground out. And so here's Larry Williams. Larry Williams hitting .341, 14 for 41 on the year. And he won the first base job this year as a sophomore. As a lot of underclassmen have been able to shine this year for the Hawthorne Cougars. Charles Boyden's first delivery is outside. Charles Boyden is not allowed a hit. He had a hit batsman in the first inning. Left a runner on. That misses a little low and inside. 2 balls and no strikes to Larry Williams with Eddie Arciniega on deck. The 2-0. And it gets the outside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. Mentioned Charles Boyden's dad, Skip Boyden, one of the coaches for the Leuzinger Olympians. Had a chance to talk to him after the ball game the other day. That's going to be way outside, so he's gone behind. 3 balls and 1 strike. 3-1 to the leadoff batter, Larry Williams. And that's going to be walk number 18 on the year now. Leadoff walk for Larry Williams. So Hawthorne with a chance here in the bottom of the second. Eddie Arciniega will be the batter. Eddie Arciniega, winning pitcher the other afternoon with 13 strikeouts. Upping his record to 5-0. Here he's back at short. And it's grounded in the hole and a clean base hit into left field. Hit number 9 on the year for Eddie Arciniega, now 9 for 29. And as Leuzinger did in the top of the inning, Hawthorne has their first 2 batters on. Alex Cabrera will be the batter.
Batting for Hawthorne,
Alex
designated
Cabrera
number
DHing.
44, Alex Cabrera.
Had a little elbow surgery that he's been recovering from. So kind of working his way back into that lineup, but he does have some pop in that bat. And it's bounced and blocked by David Treat. Keeps it in front of him. Runners can't advance. Alex Cabrera playing DH this afternoon. Bottom of the second, nobody out. Runners on first and second. No score yet, but Hawthorne with a threat. That's foul back. 1 ball, 1 strike. Heading on deck is Paul Newton for the Hawthorne Cougars. Hawthorne with that incredible 14-1 record this year. Only lost to Hart in a tournament. 2-1 pitch. Like that now it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Hawthorne bench telling him to stay aggressive at the plate. That plate's been moving around for Charles Boyden this inning. Had one is way inside, so he goes behind now, 3-1. Charles Boyden having some control problems. Walking the leadoff batter. Giving up a clean hit. Now falling behind here, 3-1. Pitching dangerously. And he walks him. 2 walks in the inning. Bases are loaded. Nobody out. So the Hawthorne Cougars in serious business here with Paul Newton. Heading to the plate as David Treat goes out to have a word with his pitcher. Hawthorne with a chance to have a very big inning.
Paul Newton.
And get wealthy in a hurry. Paul Newton hitting 8th in the order. He's 333 on the year. 10 for 30, went 1 for 3 in the ball game against Leuzinger the other afternoon. Now with a chance to do some damage here. That's fouled over by the Hawthorne dugout, now to play. Infield set up for 2. Outfield has him shaded around toward left as though they think he will pull. Fairly shallow at right. They play him straight away in center. And it's popped toward the right side. First baseman Melgoza looking for a play, and he almost had it off the fence. Would have been a good play if he's able to hold on, but not able to keep the glove on the ball as the glove and his hand hit the fence at the same time. That would have been a big out when you have your number 9 batter coming up next, but nevertheless, it's 0-2 right here. Boyden misses, gets away, gets behind David Treat, but runner can't advance. Larry Williams down at third, Eddie Arciniega at second, Alex Cabrera at first. Nobody out, count is 1-2 to Paul Newton. Charles Boyden will work from the stretch. 1-2 delivery. Lays off. 2 balls and 2 strikes. After getting ahead 0-2, last thing Boyden would want to do would be to lose him to a base on balls. So that plate has jumped around on him in this inning, 2-2, and it's in there for a call, strike 3. So he gets Newton looking, got that inside corner that time. Pitch in a good location. That's strikeout number 47 now on the season
Batting the center fielder, number
for Charles
22,
Boyden.
Marcus McNeil.
And it brings Marcus McNeil to the plate. Marcus McNeil was 0 for 3 the other afternoon against Leuzinger. I think 12 for 34 on the year. .353 batting average. Chance to do some damage here. First pitch. Hits that inside corner with a curve. No balls and 1 strike. Hawthorne bench doesn't like the call. But that's the same spot he put the pitch to Newton in. 0-1 delivery, swing and a miss. No balls and 2 strikes. The time he gets him to chase a high pitch. So he's ahead of Marcus McNeil, no balls and 2 strikes. Bases loaded, 1 out, still no score. Time called as Marcus McNeil will step out. Infield, of course, would like a double play. They're set up for 2. Outfield has him played straight away and put it deep and left. No balls and 2 strikes. The ball is foul tipped, or is it missed? Well, I believe the plate umpire is gonna, let's see. I believe they say he missed it and it got away, but of course the runners can't advance. So no advance by the runners. It does become a strikeout. And there's 2 away. Ball getting away from David Treat. But because the bases are loaded, nobody moves up. And so with 2 outs, Fernando Franco to the top of the order. Charles Boyden a chance to get out of it. Franco 0 for 1, grounded to second his first time up. That's in there for a call strike. That one's right down the pipe. So we saw Leuzinger get 2 on and Hawthorne get out, Ricky Barber get out of a jam. Can Charles Boyden get out of a bases loaded, no out jam? That one gets away, but not far enough. Ball hit the right leg of David Treat. And it rolled up toward the third base dugout somewhat, but not far enough for the runner Williams to score. 1 ball and 1 strike. There are 2 outs. Bases are still loaded. There were bases loaded, nobody out. And Charles Boyden has gotten 2 batters struck out. That one's outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. He got Paul Newton looking. Got Marcus McNeil on the 3rd strike that got away from David Treat. The runners couldn't advance. Right here it's 2-1, a good hitting situation. And that's fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So in the top of the inning, for Leuzinger, Guillermo Beltran singled, Jose Ibarra singled. David De Leon sacrificed him to second and third, but Ricky Barber struck out Joey Vela. And he got Miguel Mendoza on a ground out. Right here, there was a leadoff walk, a single and a walk, 2 strikeouts, and it's 2-2 on Fernando Franco. And he stays alive, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Larry Williams walked. Eddie Arciniega had a clean base hit in the left field. Alex Cabrera, the designated hitter, walked. Paul Newton got caught looking. Marcus McNeil got caught looking. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Can Boyden get out of it? Hits him in the back, and a run will score. Second hit batsman in the ball game. And that ball just plain got away from him. Well, somewhat befuddling, I would say, because not only is it the second hit batsman in the ball game, as a run comes down the line to score, everybody moves up. It's 1-0 Hawthorne, but
Number 15, the left fielder.
you got to wonder,
Angel
with 2
Lopez.
balls and 2 strikes, how can you hit a batter in the back like that? But it was done, and so the run scores, and the question of can he get out of it now becomes can he get out of it without any more damage? Angel Lopez 0 for 1, flied out his first time up. That's off the plate. And on the outside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike. So Lopez trying to do more damage. That'll be low, 2 balls and 1 strike. That is the 4th hit batsman on the year for Charles Boyden. 2 of them have come in this ball game, and that last one couldn't have come at a worse time for the Leuzinger cause. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Angel Lopez. Bases loaded, 1 run in. And he almost hit another batter, this time throwing it over the head. So a big pitch with 2 outs. He'll do the fake, but with 2 outs and no runners being held on, gotta wonder what is he thinking. As runner not being held on at first. 3-2, 2 outs, ball 4, and there's another run. So base on balls for Angel Lopez and an RBI. Eddie Arciniega comes down the line to score. Everybody else moves up. Alex Guerrero to third, Fernando Franco to second. Angel Lopez on the walk, and Ricky Barba, the opposing pitcher, will be coming to the plate with a chance to add to the scoring. Conference of infielders at the mound right now for Leuzinger. And Charles Boyden just simply does not look fluid.
Now batting the pitcher. Number 26.
Got a good pitching
Barba.
repertoire, but this looks kind of out of sync on the mound. Bases loaded, 2 in, 2 outs. Pitch to Barba. That gets the outside corner for a call strike, and he's very fortunate that the home plate umpire has a fairly wide strike zone. 0-1. That just misses, 1 ball and 1 strike. Looked like he was going to have a chance to get out of it with the bases loaded, but hit Fernando Franco and then walked Angel Lopez. 2 balls and 1 strike. Tommy Salvatierra is in the on-deck circle. So this could be a good hitting situation, 2-1, and it is, but it's lined right into the glove of Vince Vigueras. So the line drive caught by Vince Vigueras to retire the side. Not before a 2-run score on 1 hit, no errors, a couple of walks, hit batsman, and 3 left on. We are through 2. It is a Hawthorne Cougars 2, Leuzinger Olympians nothing. Back with the third in a moment. Ricky Barba has been given a 2-run lead as we go to the top of the third. And David Treat will lead it off for the Leuzinger Olympians. David Treat, a fine catcher, but having a very tough year. And that first pitch is fouled off, no balls and 1 strike. David Treat hitting just 162, which is very un-Treat-like numbers. He's 6 for 37 and struck out 11 times. 1 ball and 1 strike. Barba missing with a fastball. David Treat with a 3.5 grade point average on the honor roll. And by virtue of the years that he's had previously to his senior year, he was able to garner a good scholarship, as now he's garnered a good base hit. So a ball hit cleanly into center field for the base hit. Third base hit on the afternoon surrendered by Ricky Barba. And it's got to make David Treat feel a little better. as he's heading to UC Santa Barbara and would not like to head off to college on a
Batting the leadoff
sour
batter,
note.
number 5, Antonio Dorado.
Antolino Dorado will be the batter. He's 0 for 1. Grounded to short his first time up as they throw to first, and David Treat gets back in there safely. Well, the Leuzinger Olympians, if they're going to be successful the rest of the way, are going to need people like Dorado and Treat to get hot, as he has an idea about bunting. It is a fair ball. They'll have to make the throw, and they do to second to get the force. So it umpire made no sound. Tommy Salvatierra threw to second. And nobody made a sound. Everybody seems to be somewhat confused. The umpire in the field, Steve Morgan, is confused. Ball was chopped right out in front of the plate. There was no call, a fair or foul. Now the two umps, Moran and Morgan, are going to talk about it. So Salvatierra fielded it, the runner at first. David Treat didn't know what was happening. The throw went down to second, which was in time to get the force. And apparently the ruling is going to be that it was a fair ball. And so the Hawthorne Cougars get the force play on David Treat down at second. So Dorado will reach on a fielder's choice.
Now batting the pitcher.
He exchanges
7,
places
Charles
with
Boyd.
David Treat. Treat goes out 2-6 if you're scoring. One away, and Charles Boyden will be at the dish. Trying to help his own cause. He's 0 for 1. Antolino Dorado is a threat to steal. Doesn't go here as that ball is bounced low. No balls and 1 strike. Charles Boyden 9 for 32 on the year. They're hitting .281. And after giving up those 2 runs, like to redeem himself if he can. Got his 1 ball and 1 strike. There's 1 out. We're in the top of the 3rd. Hawthorne with a 2-0 lead over Leuzinger here at Hawthorne's home field. Good hit and run count. That one is chopped to short. Arciniago's going to have to take the hop. They go to second for 1, on to first, and in time for a double play. That was quite a turn by Franco there at second base. He hung in there all the way with a runner bearing down on him. Not easy. And it's a 6-4-3 double play to retire the side. So in the inning, a hit, nobody left, nothing across. Middle of the 3rd, it is Hawthorne 2, Leuzinger nothing. Back with the bottom of the 3rd in a moment.
Tommy Salvatierra.
Conference at the mound. A little tough luck in the early going for Charles Boyden, giving up the first one of the afternoon on a hit batsman and then a base on balls, and then hitting a ball that was a nice play made at short and at second by Arciniago. Arciniago on a nice play to field the hop, then with a good throw to Franco. Franco with a turn, hanging in there at second base with a base runner bearing down on him, Antolino Dorado, and they turn a 6-4-3 double play. So he trails 2-0 here in the bottom of the 3rd as Tommy Salvatierra will be the batter. Salvatierra up 1 time and hit into a force play, 0 for 1. And the first pitch to the catcher swung on and line into center field. That'll be a base hit. So Tommy Salvatierra all over that pitch, lining it into center. And he's got a clean single. Now 1 for 2. Good piece of hitting there by Tommy Salvatierra. It's 11th single on the year.
Number 24, Larry Williams.
And Larry Williams will be the batter. Williams was up 1 time. He walked and scored the first run of the ball game. First pitch is a slider in there for a call strike, 0-1. You see some of the good crowd behind the fence there on this nice sunny afternoon. It is very warm in that sun on this particular day. 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss. Take something off of that. No balls and 2 strikes. We have a reporter from the Wave here today and a reporter from the Daily Breeze as well. This Hawthorne Cougar program generating a lot of interest this year. That ball just misses. And of course the fact that they're playing Leuzinger just kind of adds to the drama. And a little lollipop throw over to first. chasing Salvatierra back. The other day after the ball game, I said to Tommy Salvatierra, you know, after hitting a home run like that, you're supposed to go on Kiner's corner. That one is hit in the air to the left side. Going to give a chase for Franco, but it's going to be fouled out of play by a couple of yards. So I said to him about going on Kiner's corner, and he said, "What's Kiner?" Well, for you ex-New Yorkers out there, you know what Kiner's corner is all about, I'm sure. If you don't know what well, if you're not a New Yorker, if you are of a certain age, and I mentioned the name Ralph Kiner, does that ring a bell? Ralph Kiner, Hall of Famer, Pittsburgh Pirate, Chicago Cub, one of the better right-handed power hitters the game has ever seen. That ball is outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes, and Ralph Kiner, going on 40 years now, one of the original broadcasters of the New York Mets, although he doesn't do all of their games these days, sort of in semi-retirement. It's low 3-2. For much of the 60s and 70s on Channel 9 in New York, old, what seems like the ancient days of TV, he would leave the booth and host Kiner's Corner. He would have the star players on that particular post-game show, and the name Kiner's Corner came about because when he would hit them out in Forbes Field in Pittsburgh in the old days, they would call that Kiner's Corner. And so they named the TV show after him. That's grounded toward the right side. The ball is going to be cut off. Nice play made, but the throw will not be in time. Good play by Dorado just to get to that ball and keep it from going into the outfield. And he was able to make a decent play on it at first base, but of course Larry Williams beats it out fairly easily. So it's an infield hit. Runners on first and second. Salvatierra goes down to second. Williams on at first. And the Hawthorne Cougars in business again with Eddie Arciniega stepping to the plate.
Shortstop, Eddie Arciniega.
Now the umpire in the field right now is saying something to the Leuzinger dugout. I don't know what it's. Alonzo Lenar, the umpire in the field, is having some discussion with somebody on the Leuzinger bench on the third base side. There you see him looking back and pointing. I don't know if he's looked like he might have given a heave-ho sign. I don't know if he's thrown somebody out there, but he was upset about something. This has been sort of a frustrating afternoon for the Leuzinger Olympians in many ways. Had a couple of plays not go their way. Charles Boyden, of course, his dad in that dugout as one of the assistant coaches. So here's Eddie Arciniega, 1 for 1, had a base hit and scored a run. Looking for more here in the third. That bounces away, not far enough. David Treat with a good block. Eddie Arciniega hitting .310 on the season. And now somebody's been tossed. Somebody in the Leuzinger dugout has been thrown out. I don't know who, but the umpire in the field, Alonzo Lenar, has just thrown someone out. And I believe it is Joel Romero, the head coach. Now there you see Skip. That's Skip Boyden, Charles Boyden's dad, who is the assistant coach. He's coming to have a word with the home plate umpire, Mark Collins. And I believe it may be Joel Romero who's been tossed. If Romero has been tossed, Skip Boyden will be the one to take over. There's Romero on the right and Skip Boyden on the left. Now the umpire in the field coming down, Alonzo Lenar, to have a word. So it may be one of them has been tossed. It's either Skip or the head coach. And it could very well be that it's Skip that's been thrown out. Skip Boyden. Yep, they are having words. They are having heated words right now. You can see him pointing, Lenar pointing at Skip Boyden, telling him he wants him off the bench. So they are not happy campers there right now. It appeared that they started saying words after the close play at first base, where the runner was called safe. Larry Williams was called safe on the nice play made by Angelino Dorado. He kept it from going into the outfield, and it was a close play at first, and of course he called him. He was the one that called him safe. And right after that is when you saw Alonzo Lenar go over and start yelling at the Leuzinger dugout. They're still jawing. And I believe Skip Boyden is he is the one that's been tossed, and he's going to have to leave the field to play. So it has to be frustrating because, of course, his son is on the mound. Or is it? Well, now I see Romero with the bag. So there's Romero with the bag. So one of them is out. We'll know in a second when one of them leaves. Unfortunately, we don't have a mic down there on the field, so we don't know who's who. Joel Romero talking to the home plate umpire. If he is tossed, Skip Boyden will, of course, take over managing the team. And something was said there that they didn't like. But, of course, not a situation where you can really blame the umpires that much with the fact that they're down 2-0. I mean, the ball that hit the hit batsman, that was on a 2-2 pitch. I mean, nothing you can do about that one. And then the base on balls, I mean, what can you say? So it was Romero that's been tossed. There's Skip Boyden. He's now going to manage the team. And Joel Romero, he will be walking off. He'll have to leave the field. He was the one that was tossed. So as order is resumed here, we are in the bottom of the third inning. The count is 1-0 on Eddie Arciniega. There's nobody out. Runners on first and second. Salvatierra and Williams with base hits. Already 2-0 in favor of Hawthorne as we're back underway. And that's in for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Eddie Arciniega, we mentioned, had a base hit and scored a run in the second inning. 1-1 pitch. That's grounded fair down the line at third. And it'll be a clean base hit. Salvatierra rounding third. He's in to score. Runners on first and second, a base hit and an RBI for Eddie Arciniega. He's 2 for 2 on the afternoon. So that one was just by the bag at third. Not much David DeLeon could do. And it's 3-0. Still nobody out. Runners on first and second.
Hitter number 44,
Larry Williams on second, Eddie Arciniega on first. And Alex Cabrera will be the batter. He walked his first time up. Cabrera with power. And that gets away. This time the runners are going to advance. But that one bounced wild and off the plate. That'll be a wild pitch. So runners move up on the WP. Williams down to third. Arciniega at second. Still nobody out in what could be a very damaging inning for the Leuzinger Olympians as they'll bring their infield in, trying to cut off any further damage at the plate with nobody out. And that's downstairs, 2 balls and no strikes. There's no warm-up action in the bullpen for Leuzinger, so they are asking Charles Boyden to prevent any further damage right here, and that is going to be a tough thing to do. 3 balls and no strikes. Now keep in mind, you do have batters number 8 and 9 scheduled up, Paul Newton and Marcus McNeil, who did not look good in their first 2 times at bat and who have not been having scintillating offensive seasons, so that's something you can consider, but this one's in for a call strike, 3-1. Cabrera will be looking for something juicy here if he likes it. I'm sure he will have the green light. 3-1 pitch. Not going to get a chance as he walks for the second time. So the bases are loaded. Second inning in a row that Hawthorne has loaded the bases. They got 2 in the second. Now here in the third, they've got them loaded with nobody out. And Paul Newton is the batter. Newton 0 for 1. He got caught looking his first time up and would like to redeem himself, I'm sure. Fouls that one back. Paul Newton now hitting .320 23 on the year. And it's outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Right now we are in the bottom of the third. Hawthorne leading 2-0 over the Leuzinger Olympians. 1-1. And when you see a fake play like that, you have to wonder what Charles Boyden is thinking. 2 balls and 1 strike, because in this sort of a situation, none of the middle infielders are going to put any play on the guy at second. I mean, maybe you just want to do it to stay honest. Nobody out, 2-1. He'll step off momentarily. Of course, at first base, they're not going to hold the runner on. Infield is halfway at first, up at third, looking for 2 in the middle, as that one is swung on. A little high cheese, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Paul Newton not able to catch up with that one. 2 balls, 2 strikes, no out. Just missed. 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. So a pitch of fate right here. 3-2, bases loaded. And it'll be a pop on the infield. Tough play and a nice catch made by Vince Vigueras. You know, if they were playing with wooden bats, you'd be tempted to say that that's a little broken bat pop-up. That's what it almost sounded like. I don't know, maybe they bent the aluminum there or something, but that's not an easy play, and Vince Vigueras was able to make it.
22, Marcus McNeil.
So Vince Vigueras with a good catch. A little butterfly pop-up there at short. And Marcus McNeil is a batter. He's 0 for 1. He got caught looking his first time up. Bases still loaded. Now with 1 out. That's a line drive into center field for a base hit. 1 run will score. The bases will stay loaded. And it's a clean single and an RBI for Marcus McNeil, and it's 4-0 in favor of Hawthorne. So Marcus McNeil delivers from the 9th spot. He's got his 10th RBI on the year, 11th single. Bases remain loaded.
Number 2, the second baseman, Fernie Franco.
And Fernando Franco is the batter. He was hit by that pitch to score the first run. That's a fair ball. They'll come home where they can tag the plate to get the out, and they will get the force there, as Franco will be safe on the force. So Franco reaches on the fielder's choice. Eddie Arciniega erased at the plate. The out goes 3-2 for the second out. So with 2 outs, bases remain loaded. Cabrera at third, Marcus McNeil at second, Franco at third, and Angel Lopez walked and had an RBI his last time up. That's on the outside corner for a call strike. And that misses low, 1-1. 2 runs in already on the inning. There have been 4 hits so far. Bases are still loaded. It's 1-1 to Angel Lopez. Foul that off the screen. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And Charles Boyden, who had some decent numbers coming in to this ball game, been a little bit off balance for the most part. Came close to pitching out of trouble in the second inning, a bases loaded jam, but hit Fernando Franco to force in the first run, and then walked Lopez. That's a foul ball just outside the bag at first. And we've seen Joel Romero thrown out of the ball game today by Alonzo Lenar, the umpire in the field. And it appeared that the argument came after Larry Williams was called safe at first on an infield hit. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It's off the plate, 2-2. Tries to get him to chase, but Angel Lopez not offering. And the 2-2 stays alive. Lopez had a good cut at that one. Angel came into the afternoon with a .341 batting average. Now there's a balk has been called. Balk has been called against Charles Boyden. Apparently broke his hands. Taking a look at the umpire in the field, he's saying that he broke his hands and he wasn't on the rubber. So this has been a disastrous outing for Charles Boyden. He balks in a run. Cabrera comes down the line to score on the balk. Everybody else will move up. Now you see umpire having him show him what he did. Showing him with his foot. He's been jumping all over that mound this afternoon. Hasn't looked fluid. Now he's explaining to him what he's got to do and what he's not doing. And of course his dad is the assistant coach looking off on the third baseline. The .341 batting average. Now there's a balk has been called. Balk has been called against Charles Boyden. Apparently broke his hands. Taking a look at the umpire in the field, he's saying that he broke his hands and he wasn't on the rubber. So this has been a disastrous outing for Charles Boyden. He balks in a run. Cabrera comes down the line to score on the balk. Everybody else will move up. Now you see umpire having him show him what he did. Showing him with his foot. He's been jumping all over that mound this afternoon. Hasn't looked fluid. Now he's explaining to him what he's got to do and what he's not doing. And of course his dad is the assistant coach looking off on the third baseline. It's been shaky. Leuzinger Olympian fans are not going to heard one of them outside say that the umpire is taking the game right away from us. That's their opinion, apparently. 2-2 pitch. That's now a full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. First base is open. Runners on second and third, 2 out. It's now a 5-0 ball game. And the bases will be loaded again. So we are seeing one fine pitching performance this afternoon, but fine pitching has been coming from the man who's stepping to the plate, Ricky Barba. Does not come this afternoon from Charles Boyden. Bases loaded, 2 out, and a chance of Barba to do some damage as he fouls the first pitch off. Ricky Barba 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch. He was hit by a pitch with 2 outs in the first inning. And left on the bases, looking for his first hit on the afternoon. Up high, 1 ball and 1 strike. I mentioned Charles Boyden has 4 hit batsmen on the year, 2 of them in this game. One pitch. It's in the air, foul off to the right side. So he's ahead of Ricky Barba, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ricky Barba hitting .238 at the moment. That's a chop on the infield. Going to be a tough play. They'll have to hurry. And they get him. Nice stretch at first base. Close call, and the out is made. So the umpire in the field, Alonzo Lenar, has figured in some interesting plays in this inning. He's thrown the Leuzinger head coach Joe Romero out, and he's had to make 2 tough calls at first, and he's also called a balk. But in the inning, 3 runs come across the plate for the Hawthorne Cougars, And through 3, it is Hawthorne 5, Leuzinger nothing. Back with the 4th in a moment. Well, Ricky Barber now with 5 runs to work with as he gets set to pitch Leuzinger in the top of the 5th inning, rather top of the 4th
Leading
inning.
off for the Olympians in the top of the 4th, the shortstop.
And they'll have the heart of their
Vince
order, Vince
Figueres.
Figueres, Guillermo Beltran, and Jose Ibarra trying to do something against Ricky Barber. They've had 3 hits, not able to do much. Had their first 2 men on in the 2nd inning, but Ricky Barber pitched out of trouble. Vince Figueres 0 for 1. Hitting .325 on the year. He is leading the Leuzinger Olympians in just about every offensive category. And he watches that one outside. 1 ball and no strikes. If you're just joining us, and a little fireworks in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Joe Romero, Leuzinger head coach, tossed out of the ball game by field umpire Alonzo Lennar. Argument seemed to come after he made a close call at first base where Larry Williams beat out an infield hit, and he was called safe. Romero tossed, had to leave the premises. And the inning ended on a tough bang-bang play, as that's a nice hop made by Ponce, and a long throw, and he gets the out. So Francisco Ponce, who's being DH'd for, playing 3rd base today, makes it 1 away, as now Vince Figueres is 0 for 2 on the afternoon.
Coming back for the Olympians, number 12, Guillermo Beltran.
So Guillermo Beltran is the batter. It's up 1 time and had a base hit. Watches the fastball inside. That base hit was his 10th single on the year, 14th hit overall. He leads the team in singles with 10. It's off the plate, 2 balls and no strikes. For the most part, the Leuzinger Olympians have just not been a very opportunistic team. Team batting, not very proficient. They've not been making errors as of late, but you know, some of the things that they've done out there on the mound today. Charles Boyden hitting a batter at an inopportune time, walking a batter at an inopportune time, and then, of course, a balk with the bases loaded. So you take those 3 things back, that accounts for 3 runs right there. Those, of course, are not errors, but they hurt nevertheless. That's in for a call, strike 2 in a good location. Ricky Barber's had make that 2 strikeouts on the afternoon. And he came close to number 3 right there, but Guillermo Beltran lays off. Guillermo Beltran, the right fielder, leads the team in RBIs with 11. 2-2 pitch. That's chopped to 3rd. Ponce has a good hop and a strong throw for out number 2. So that's one way to figure if you're not going to get a chance to bat because you're being DH'd for, you got to do it with your glove. He's had a couple of good plays today on the infield. You're looking at a Hawthorne Cougar team that does not resemble by any measure the team that we saw last year in the games that we covered. Jose Ibarra, the batter. Had a base hit his first time up. Up here with 2 outs. And he swings at the high cheese. No balls and 1 strike. They're saying this Hawthorne Cougar team, last year they were hovering around the 500 mark, about the middle of the pack in the Ocean League. This year they are way up at 7-0, tied with Redondo Beach with the top spot. They are 14-1, and they have turned the program around big time. It's out 2 balls and 1 strike. When you look at their success, of course, it has to start with pitching, and you're seeing one example of it today out there on the mound. You saw Eddie Arciniega the other afternoon, and you're seeing Ricky Barber here. Ricky Barber, of course, coming in with an 0.27 ERA, and that's not a lot of run yet. 3 balls and 1 strike, Jose Ibarra. That's grounded toward the middle, going to be a high hop for Arciniega. Now the throw, and almost didn't put enough on it, but just does get it there in enough time to retire Ibarra, and they go in order. So 3 up, 3 down. We're in the middle of the 4th. It's Hawthorne Cougars 3. All right, make that Hawthorne Cougars 5. Leuzinger Olympians nothing. Back with the bottom in a moment. As we go to the bottom of the 4th, Leuzinger Olympians in a 5-hole. Down 5-0. Charles Boyden on the mound. And Tommy Salvatierra stepping up to the plate. He's 1 for 2. Had a base hit his last time up. Also scored a run. We were talking last inning about one of the reasons why the program has been successful and turned around this year. Well, you're looking at one of them in the batter's box right now. Tommy Salvatierra has had a fine season. Leads the team in home runs with 4. He's got 15 RBIs. And first pitch to him here. It's swung on and foul back. No balls and 1 strike. And now he's 17 for 38 overall, which is good for a .447 batting average. Here's Boyden's 0-1. That swung on and popped up high in the infield. Garris with the call, and there's one away. So Tommy Salvatierra flies to short. And with 1 out, this brings Larry Williams to the plate. Larry Williams is now 1 for 1. Had a base hit, scored 2 runs, also walked. That one's hitting the air to the opposite field, giving center fielder and left fielder a chase. It's going to be in there for the base hit. So it falls between them, and he's got his 2nd hit of the afternoon. Larry Williams had the controversial infield hit his last time up,
For the Cougars, number 4, the
where he was
shortstop,
called
Eddie
safe on a close
Arciniega.
play at first base by Alonzo Lenar, the umpire in the field, and it was that call that got Leuzinger head coach thrown out of the ball game. Created a little friction between the umpire and the bench as Eddie Arciniega fouls that one back. Joe Romero tossed for arguing as Lenar came over and was jawing at the dugout and finally did throw him out. It was either going to be him or Skip Boyden that was going to get tossed, but wound up being Romero. Eddie Arciniega at the plate is 2 for 2, had a base hit, 2 base hits, and 1 RBI. And also scored a run. So he's now hitting about an even 300 for the year. Throw to first. Williams able to dive in. If you want to be exact, Eddie Arciniega is hitting .333. Says our calculator. That play a little closer at first, but Williams able to get in. That's outside. The other day, Vince Figueres was able to pick Fernando Franco off first base. And it's way outside. There's 1 out, runner on first. Bottom of inning number 4. Hawthorne already leading 5-0. As that one is fouled off the bat, tried to get out of the way of that one. Eddie Arciniega for most of last year was a leadoff hitter. And he still can lead off, but Coach Jeff Hines likes the fact that he can also drive in runs, so that's why he's been dropped down in the order. And when you've got someone like Fernando Franco who can come in as a first-year player and do what he's done from the leadoff position. That just makes your team all the more deeper. And again, talking about the reason why the Hawthorne Cougars have been able to turn the program around, it's some of those younger players. He got a big jump, but it's ball 4. So Larry Williams with a big jump, but ball 4 outside Eddie Arciniega as he picks up the base on balls. He's on base for the 3rd time. And with runners on first and second, 1 out, Alex Cabrera will be the batter.
Number 44, the designated hitter, Alex Cabrera.
Alex Cabrera has walked both times up. He walked to drive in a run. Actually, he walked and scored a run, scored on a balk in that wild 3rd inning. That's downstairs, 1 ball and no strikes. Charles Boyden has worked from that stretch most of the ball game. And it's in there for a call strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Charles Boyden and Vince Vigueras are the 2 bulwark pitchers for the Leuzinger Olympians. It's low and outside, 2-1. Vince Vigueras had a fine ball game the other day, but Charles Boyden not actually scintillating this afternoon. It's fouled out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes here at Hawthorne's home field. Off on the right side is the football and track field, where we have done many a football game here on Channel 22. At least Rufus Washington has. And off on the third base side is 124th Street in the city of Hawthorne, and Inglewood Avenue way over behind the left field fence. Behind the left field fence you have the Hawthorne Cougars softball fields. As it's in there for call strike 3, gets him looking. So Cabrera caught looking. And that's 3rd strikeout in the afternoon for Charles Boyden. 2 outs, and Paul Newton is the batter.
Number 14, Paul Newton.
Paul Newton 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Paul Newton batting .313 at the moment. That one's fouled off. No balls and 2 strikes. Paul Newton, again, one of those newcomers. He's a sophomore. Underclassmen have been doing the job this year for this ball club. Stays alive. Count is no balls and 2 strikes.
Take your time and hit the
Get
ball.
Fernando Franco, a sophomore. Paul Newton, a sophomore. I have a couple of juniors that have been having big years. 0-2 pitch. Reaches for that one, and he'll stay alive. No balls and 2 strikes. Eddie Arciniega, junior. Got Angel Lopez, a junior. Francisco Ponce, who's at 3rd today, a junior. Tommy Salvatierra, a junior. So this is a team that's going to be loaded for next year as well. That's back to the mound. Charles Boyden should handle it easily. And the side will be retired. So no runs come across. 1 hit, 2 left. End of 4. Hawthorne Cougars 5. Leuzinger Olympians nothing. Back with a 5th in a moment. On to the top of the 5th inning, a 5-0 ball game. Ricky Barba on the plus side.
Okay, for Leuzinger, 3 is for number 10, which is Bella. And for Hawthorne, 17, 14.
Well, we're having a couple of changes, which we will bring you up to date on. For the Hawthorne Cougars, Jose Lupian is going to go into the ball game for Paul Newton and bat in the 8th spot.
Leuzinger, top of the 5th. 3rd baseman, number 24, David De Leon.
As David De Leon steps up, he's been up 1 time and had a sacrifice bunt, which at the time was an important sacrifice when there was no score in the ball game. And that is a 1 hopper hit toward second. Good play made there by Franco, and the throw for out number 1. So De Leon is retired. And we have a new batter. Joey Vela has been called back. And a new batter for the Leuzinger Olympians. Luis Lopez will be the batter. He promptly grounds it to short. Not taking much time to pose to the picture in the batter's box. Got good speed, but the throw was way ahead of him. And Lopez is retired. So Luis Lopez on the out, coming in to pinch hit for Joey Vela. Joey Vela has been having a tough time, as you know. He struck out earlier in the ball game, which is 4 consecutive swinging strikeouts, and barely was able to make contact when he did swing. So Magoza's the batter. Miguel Magoza 0 for 1, grounded to short. Mentioned he had those 2 big home runs, dramatic home runs the other day. And for Leuzinger fans, they're probably saying, well, if there could have just been someone on base when he hit them. Both of them were of the solo variety. And he had been in a big slump before hitting those home runs. Before hitting those home runs, he had been 1 for 19. He's now 3 for 23. And that's a little weak grounder that they'll have to come in on and make the throw, and they go rather quietly here in the 5th. So a quick inning for the Leuzinger Olympians. They're retired in order, and through 4.5. It's Hawthorne 5, Leuzinger nothing, back with the bottom of the 1st.
The center fielder, Marcus McNeil.
Well, in between innings, we had a chance to talk with the umpire in the field, Alonzo Lenar, and we asked him about the controversy where Romero was thrown out of the ball game in the 3rd inning. He said, in fact, it was over that call at first base. Larry Williams, as you may remember, beat out an infield hit after Antolino Dorado did a nice job to get to the ball and get a throw off at first base. It was a close play. He called Larry Williams safe, and that led to him saying a couple of things to him. And as Marcus McNeil leads it off here, we'll tell you more about the story. Tries to bunt, fouls that off. Marcus McNeil 1 for 2 at a base hit and an RBI his last time up. Was a close play at first base. He called him safe, and when that was over, of course, he came over toward the third base dugout and told them, he wanted them to keep quiet, didn't like what he was saying, and kept jawing. According to him, that's his side of the story. Of course, we'd have to, when the ball game was over, ask Coach Romero. Swing and a miss. No balls and 2 strikes, but we were able to talk to him in between innings, and he said, after a little too much mouth there, he told him he had to go. And we were able to catch them doing the arguing. Marcus McNeil, the varsity basketball player, in an 0-2 hold. He pops this one up. Treat could have a play, but it's going to be over our little broadcast perch and into the street, and it may have hit the Channel 22 van. I don't hear anyone saying ouch, so I guess they're okay. No balls and 2 strikes to Marcus McNeil. Struck out looking and had a base hit and an RBI. He again one of these fines for Coach Jeff Hines and assistant coach Randy Davidson. Playing varsity basketball. He's a senior. And he had a good year for the Hawthorne Cougars basketball team. They did not win that many games, but as I remember, they won their last ball game that we did against North Torrance. And an emotional night for a lot of the seniors on the Hawthorne Cougars basketball team. No balls, 2 strikes. Charles Boyden with a pitch. Wasted one outside, 1-2. Charles Boyden, we mentioned, with a rocky afternoon. Had a chance to get out of damage in the 2nd inning, but hit a batter to force in the 1st run. Walked someone with the bases loaded for the 2nd and had a balk to drive in a run. So if you take away those 3, it's only 2 runs. 2 balls and 2 strikes to McNeil. And he hits that one in the air to left field. It's fairly deep. It's going to be trouble drifting toward the line, and it'll go out of play. So back to the batter's box for Marcus McNeil. Again, getting a chance to play two sports. A lot of times you'll have players who'll play football and track, especially wide receivers and running backs. We got some basketball players, as we noted for Leuzinger last year, that play volleyball. So you get more than one letter that you get a chance to wear around. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Just missed. The count is full, 3-2. Of course, his varsity basketball coach was Joe House. And Joe House is a story because at one time he was in the New York Mets minor league system back in the early 80s as a catcher. Swing and a miss. Not able to catch up with that one there, and McNeil was struck out for the second time. So he's had a base hit sandwiched between 2 strikeouts. 1 away.
Now batting number 2.
And to the top of the order for Fernando Franco. Franco's been on base 2 times. He grounded out, hit by a pitch to drive in a run. Reached on a fielder's choice. Tries to bunt, and that's fouled off. Fernando Franco, 20 for 54 on the year. And that's into the glove of second baseman Antolino Dorado. Route number 2, a little soft liner. Franco retired for the second time in the afternoon. And with 2 outs, Angel Lopez will be the batter.
Angel Lopez.
Lopez 0 for 1, walked twice and walked to drive in the second run. Lopez takes that one inside. Angel Lopez 14 out of 42, 10 RBIs. Hits that one in the air to the left side. And John Franco is called off, and the ball is dropped in center field. Ball is dropped in center field. It was Franco that made the call. And it looked like, I don't know if that's Ibarra in center field or if that's Vela out there in center field. We'll have to, I believe that's Vela in center field. Well, as we noted in the last inning, when Vela was hit, Vela was a designated hitter. Luis Lopez hit for him. You know they have all kinds of crazy re-entry rules, but that's an error on whoever the center fielder is out there. That's definitely an error. Whether it's Ibarra or it's Vela in center field, doesn't matter. It's an E8. As Jose Franco had that one all the way. I mean, center fielder does have the right of way, but somebody didn't call or do something out there. Ricky Barber, the batter. Barber hit by the pitch for the second time. And now this time, umpire is going to go out and walk halfway between the mound and the first baseline. That is going to be the 5th hit batsman on the year for Charles Boyd, and second time he's hit Ricky Barber. And that one ouches a little. I mean, the first one just simply got away. That one looked more like a purpose pitch. Don't want to accuse him of doing anything, but obviously when he hit him in the first inning, there were 2 outs, just one that got away, a little soft one. And of course, when he hit the batter, when he hit Franco in the 3rd inning, in the 2nd inning, to allow the first run, obviously not meaning to do that, but perhaps a little frustration right now, and Salvatierra is at the bat. Salvatierra on the afternoon, 1 for 3, had a base hit and scored a run. Runners on first and second. That misses low, 2 balls and no strikes. Now if Salvatierra is hit, could get interesting in a bad way, which is something that you don't want to see at any level. 2 balls and no strikes. And you can't say it's a situation where he's trying to take the inside part of the plate, because quite frankly his control has just not been that good. doesn't look like he's been pitching with much of a purpose. So can't say it's a situation where pitching inside just to get him off the plate, especially when the first two hit batsmen were just so soft anyway. Well, that looked like a intentional walk to Tommy Salvatierra to load the bases. Lopez will go down to third, Ricky Barber down to second, Tommy Salvatierra at first, and Larry Williams the batter. Be a little meeting of the minds at the mound. There's dad and son, Skip Boyden. Those uniforms, they look like the Cleveland Indians. I was joking with him about that the other day, saying it looks like Andre Thornton out there, says his dad, the old Cleveland Indians from the big cavernous municipal stadium. Larry Williams, scheduled hitter. He's 2 for 2, been on base 3 times, 2 singles, scored 2 runs, also walked. He's having a fine afternoon, and the bases will be loaded with 2 outs, and Hawthorne Cougars already up 5-0, chance to really blow this thing open here in the bottom of the 5th. So we're still going to get the situation straight for you as far as some of the changes that have been made.
33 for 16.
Well, we're going to get a change now. Pinch runner at first base. Matt Ellis is going to run at first base for Tommy Salvatierra. And that's probably just a courtesy running sort of situation, although Matt Ellis can catch.
Now batting, the first baseman, number 24.
So he's a runner
Larry
on at
Williams.
first base with Larry Williams at the plate. And we still have yet to see if it's Jose Ibarra in center field or if Joey Vela went out there. Joey Vela was a designated hitter, but he was pinch hit for in the top of the 5th inning as Williams fouls it off. So in the top of the 5th inning, Luis Lopez came in as a pinch hitter for Joey Vela. He grounded out. And it could be that they just simply lost their designated hitter and he has to go into the field. But we'll get that checked out because the error that was committed in this inning was committed by the center fielder. No balls and 2 strikes. Larry Williams in the hole. There were 2 outs. Angel Lopez hit the fly ball to left center that Franco looked like he had. Center fielder called him off and dropped it. That put Lopez on second. Ricky Barber was hit by a pitch. Looked like somewhat intentionally. Put it first and second. Salvatierra walked on an intentional walk. It was 4 pitches where they weren't even close. Looked like Boyden 1-0 of Tommy Salvatierra. Now Larry Williams has a count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Boyden trying to avoid any further damage. That one's hit in the air to center field. It's hit a long way, a long run. And it is Ibarra because he's got his back to the infield and he'll be chasing it down. 1 run will score, 2 runs will score, 3 runs will score, the bases will clear, and that just might have been the knockout punch. And you want to know something, ladies and gentlemen? All 3 of those runs are going to be unearned. So if you were Jose Ibarra, maybe you want to keep your back turned away from the camera because it is his error out there in center field that has prolonged this inning and has allowed these 3 more runs to come in for the Hawthorne Cougars. And it is now an 8-0 ball game. A big double for Larry Williams. 3 runs come in, the bases are cleared. Matt Ellis comes in as you see Charles Boyden. Long, frustrating afternoon for he and the Leuzinger Olympians. So we're going to get a pitching change right here. Pitching change in the bottom of the 5th. It is 8-0 in favor of Hawthorne over Leuzinger, and we'll come back with a change right after this.
Batting the shortstop, number 4, Eddie Arciniega.
Guillermo Beltran is in here to pitch. Coming in from right field, he'll relieve Charles Boyden, who so far has been tagged for 8 runs. 2 outs in the inning. First pitch is over for a call strike. Eddie Arciniega's the batter. Arciniega's been on base 3 times, had 2 singles, scored a run, had an RBI, and walked. Fine afternoon for the shortstop, as he had a fine afternoon on the mound the other day, upping his record to 5-0. And a couple of defensive moves for Leuzinger. Antolino Dorado moves from second base to left field. And we have Franco moving from left to right. Jose Franco will be out in right field. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Eddie Arciniega grounded to short. Vince Figueres should retire the side, and he does. Well, they would have gone in order, but a big error committed by Jose Ibarra in center field when he interfered with left fielder Jose Franco, dropping the ball, allowing 3 more runs to score. And through 5 innings, it is the Hawthorne Cougars 8, Leuzinger Olympians nothing. Back with the 6th in a moment.
31-16, Hawthorne 31-16.
Ricky Barber getting set to start his 6th inning of work. He'll have a new battery mate, Tommy Salvatierra, who was out of the ball game for the courtesy runner. Courtesy runner in the top of the inning, Matt Ellis, who came around to score. So we'll have a new catcher. Anthony Caro will be the battery mate of Ricky Barber, and he'll face David Treat. David Treat takes downstairs for ball 1. He had a base hit his last time up. He's not been having a scintillating offensive year, but able to get a hit his last time. Get him out of the doldrums somewhat. And despite the disappointing senior year he's having, they are expecting good things of him at the college level, where he'll be going to UC Santa Barbara. That's fouled off, and he chose UC Santa Barbara out of a couple of UC San Diego. UC Long Beach wanted him, and chose UC Santa Barbara, where he'll get a chance to work things out at that program and regain the momentum that he apparently has lost this year. He's had a good year behind the plate, but it has been at the bat where he's had his difficulties this year. As you can see, fooled by that pitch, and he strikes out swinging. So 1 away, and that is the 12th strikeout this season. 12th time David Treat has struck out this season.
Now batting the second baseman, number 5, Antonio Dorado.
So back to the top of the order, Antolino Dorado, who is now in left field. Moved over to left field in the bottom of the 5th inning, when Jose Franco moved over to right after they made the pitching change. He's 0 for 2. Reached on a fielder's choice and also grounded out. 1 ball and 1 strike. Make that no balls and 2 strikes. That's a tip to stay alive. Angelino Dorado having a good year defensively. And these Leuzinger Olympians in the field had been playing much better defensively until that big error in center field in the bottom of the 5th inning. Dorado only with 4 hits on the year. Lays off. Count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Angelino Dorado hitting 154 at the moment. And it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. Throws the bat away, but home plate umpire Mike Collins has got the correct count. So he'll have to pick the stick up and come back. And as usual, when these two schools play, there's always a lot of jawing going on. And the big Hawthorne crowd. There's QB Vasquez on the right side of your screen. QB. There he is. Well, you pick him up there. QB nothing to do today. His girls softball team not playing. So he's out picking up a few pointers, I guess. That's ball 4. As that one gets away, Dorado is going to run down to first. For those of you who don't know, Leuzinger hails from Rosecrans, right off of Hawthorne Boulevard, and the Hawthorne Cougars, as we will get a new batter, Mario Duran. Check that, not Mario Duran. We'll get the new batter for Leuzinger for you in a second. Rafael Meneses is a batter.
Now batting number 21, Rafael Meneses.
Rafael Meneses batting in Charles Boyden's spot. Charles Boyden out of the ball game, lifted the last inning. Rafael Meneses hitting 1 for 18 on the year. 0-56, ouch. Lays off of that one. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, we're talking about the proximity of the two schools. Leuzinger on Rosecrans off of Hawthorne Boulevard, and Hawthorne High School off of Inglewood Avenue, close to El Segundo Boulevard. Very close. Whenever the two schools play each other, they take delight in not only beating each other, but the fans give it to each other. And this afternoon, the Hawthorne fans having the better of it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We here at Channel 22, based in Lawndale, which is where Leuzinger is based. We are covered on the Lawndale and the Hawthorne cable system, so we do both schools. We have to stay neutral, basically. And even if we were covering one of them, we still would be neutral as he gets caught looking. Rafael Meneses is a strikeout victim. 3rd strikeout on the afternoon for Ricky Barber. Not piling up the strikeouts, but pitching a good ball game. Allowed only 3 hits on the afternoon as Vince Figueres steps into the batter's box. Close play at first. Down and by 8 runs in the top of the 6th inning. You do not need to get picked off at first base. Ball 1 to Vince Figueres, who's 0 for 2. Vince Figueres leading the team in many offensive categories. Been hitless today until now. He'll be 1 for 2. That's hit number 15 on the year. And that's the 8th single for Vince Figueres on the year. So a hard single into center field.
The pitcher, number 12, Guillermo Beltran.
And that's the first base hit that Ricky Barber had given up since the 3rd inning. Comes with 2 outs. Guillermo Beltran is the batter. Beltran started in right field. He's now on the mound in relief of Charles Boyden. Beltran 1 for 2. He had a base hit. 1st and 2nd, 2 outs. And it's in there. Drops in the off-speed pitch. Leuzinger noted for coming back late in ball games. They're going to have to come from way back if they're going to want to pull this one out. And they won't do it there. He's out swinging. 4th strikeout on the afternoon for Ricky Barber. So he sandwiches a couple of strikeouts between a walk and a hit. And in the middle of the 6th inning, it is Hawthorne 8, Leuzinger nothing. Back with the bottom of the 6th in a moment. To the bottom of the 6th we go. Guillermo Beltran in his 2nd inning of relief. And he'll be facing Francisco Ponce.
17 is after that. 7 is after that. And in the number 4 slot, put number 31 for 16.
So we've got a whole host of changes here, which we will be telling you about, starting with change number 1. Francisco Ponce comes in from 3rd base, and he'll be batting for Alex Cabrera, who has been the DH this afternoon. So this is Ponce's first trip to the plate this afternoon, and he looks at strike 1. Ponce facing Guillermo Beltran. It's outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Ponce, a junior. One of those underclassmen that we've been talking about that's having a fine year. For Charles Hines, that one floats in there for call striking. Utility infielder. Got a start the other day when Eddie Arciniega was on the mound. It's out 2 balls and 2 strikes. And doesn't look like he's going to jack the ball out of the yard, but of course he just want to make contact and use his speed. Had a fine day in the field today at third base. As batters 7, 8, and 9 here in the bottom of the 6th, you're going to see a whole host of new players with Hawthorne leading 8-0. 2-2 delivery. That's hitting the air to the right side. It's going to make it over into the football stands and out of play. Jose Lupian will be the next batter. He batted for Paul Newton and went into right field. And then third batter in the order, Ricky Rodriguez, is going to hit for Marcus McNeil. So those are going to be your scheduled batters here in the bottom of the 6th. That's grounded, fair ball. Nice play. They'll have to throw it to the pitcher covering, and they just barely get there. So Miguel Melgoza makes a nice play on the line. Guillermo Beltran a little bit late getting over their covering, but they get the call made at first. And Ponce is retired. Well, the first out here in the bottom of the 6th.
Now batting number 17.
So here's Jose Lupian. He's up one time, and actually he hasn't been up. This is his first at bat as he hits this one toward third. Nice play made at third and a good throw. David DeLeon with the throw. Came into play right field in the 5th inning. Before that, Paul Newton had been the batter. Newton was 0 for 3, so that's his first at bat. Lupian 0 for 1, retired 5-3.
Number 7, Ricky
And this brings up Ricky Rodriguez. Ricky Rodriguez, a senior. He's getting his first at bat. Takes that one upstairs, so ball 1. If you want to look ahead to the 7th inning for the Leuzinger Olympians, they have scheduled batters 5, 6, and 7, and they'll be trailing at least 8-0. 2 balls and no strikes at one out of the strike zone. As we approach spring break, Easter vacation for both of these teams. We'll have a little bit of time to work with. 2-0 pitch. And Rodriguez watches strike 1, 2-1. Leuzinger Olympians do not play until April 25th when they'll have their 2 league games against Inglewood, home and away. So they have a little time to kill. And that swung on in line into right field. That's going to be a base hit. Headed toward the corner, and then wave him around toward second. As the ball gets down there by the bullpen area, he's going to try for 3. Throw will not come off. And Ricky Rodriguez has a stand-up triple down the right field line. Hawthorne Cougars continue to pour it on. He just went with that pitch, smacked it down the right field line, and got the clean triple.
Bench hitting number 21, Mario Duran.
So Mario Duran will be the batter, and now I believe they're going to say that's a ground rule double. I believe they're going to say that the ball got lost down in the corner, down there by where they have that batting cage. So take the triple away and give Rodriguez a ground rule double, as Mario Duran will be the pinch hitter for Franco, and he prompts a hit this one into center field. Ibarra going back, giving a chase. It's going to be over his head and up against the fence. In to score is Ricky Rodriguez. That's a stand-up double. And Mario Duran gives that one a charge. It's now 9-0. Double and an RBI. So the bench getting a chance to play. They know they're on TV. Got to make the best of their TV time. There was Mario Duran hitting for Fernando Franco. Franco had been 0 for 3 and hit by a pitch with an RBI. Now the conference at the mound. Skip Boyden, coaching the team in the absence of Joel Romero, if you just joined us, was tossed in the 3rd inning by field umpire Alonzo Lenar. Got thrown out for arguing a call, close call at first base. 9-0 in favor of Hawthorne. They've had timely hits this afternoon.
11,
and you see the bench producing. So this is a chance for the Hawthorne Cougars to strut their stuff offensively for our TV cameras here at Channel 22. And Israel Castellano will be the next pinch hitter for Angel Lopez. So they're just cleaning them all up today. be facing Beltran. And Guillermo Beltran's pitch is outside. Mario Duran doubled. He's down there at second. Before him, Ricky Rodriguez doubled down into the right field corner. Back-to-back doubles have produced the 9th run for the Hawthorne Cougars. 1 ball and 1 strike. Now you're seeing Israel Castellanos trying to bring Duran in. That's a foul tip. And we have a new catcher for the Leuzinger Olympians. Brian Ansman is behind the plate, relieving David Treat. Brian Ansman, number 22. So the battery is Guillermo Beltran and Brian Ansman for Leuzinger. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Castellanos. That's outside, 2-2. Well, we told you about the break coming up. Leuzinger Olympians will not play until April 25th against Inglewood. 25th and 27th, they have a home and away against Inglewood. And the Hawthorne Cougars will be playing in the Coachella Valley tournament, where they should have some challenges. Challenges to their 14-1 record, which it looks like it's going to be 15-1 after 3 more outs are recorded. Don't know what teams are going to be in that tournament, but you would assume it should be fairly competitive. They'll be playing that on April 17th through 19th, and then they'll have a home and away with Centennial, and we'll be here on April 27th when Centennial plays Hawthorne. That one is grounded back to the box. Beltran will have it. And the side is retired, but not before the bench comes up with 1 run on 2 doubles and 1 man left through 6 innings. It's the Hawthorne Cougars 9, Leuzinger Olympians nothing. Back with the top of the 7th and last chance with Leuzinger Olympians right after this. 7th inning we go for the Leuzinger Olympians. Trailing 9-0. Ricky Barber trying to go all the way for his 5th win. And Gustavo Ramirez will be the pinch hitter for Jose Ibarra. Tries to bunt. And there he's going to make the throw from his knees. It'll get away. And it'll be an infield hit. So, bunt base hit by Gustavo Ramirez, trailing 9-0. Not a bad idea. Ricky Barber falling down, trying to make the play, and fortunately for him, the ball wasn't thrown into the dugout or over the fence, or he would have had an error. So he doesn't get an error, but it's a leadoff base runner. David DeLeon will be the batter. He's 0 for 1 and had a sacrifice. And we mentioned for the Leuzinger Olympians, a team that likes to come back late. They're going to have a big comeback, need a big comeback if they're going to do this one today. Facing Ricky Barber, who has been brilliant, coming in with an 0.27 in ERA, which is going to shrink even more the way things hold up. Coming in, Ricky Barber had pitched 26 innings and allowed just 1 earned run, 2 runs altogether, 1 earned. His ERA is 0.27. Well, let's calculate something right quick if we can. If he were to finish this, as that ball is chopped foul. Well, I don't know, my calculator's a little off, but what you do is you divide the innings pitched divided by the earned runs times 7. So if you got a calculator at home, want to try to figure that out, see what you get, see what you come up with. It's going to be rather low, to say the least, if Leuzinger is not able to score. And that's chopped foul. Leon staying alive. Earned runs divided by innings pitched times 7. Usually how you get it, or something like that. Look it up in your basement. Go on the internet tonight and figure it out. course, Ramirez would want to get a good jump, but probably not stealing a base down 9-0. Well, there he goes. It's on what looks like a delayed steal, and he's going to be in there on the strikeout. So De Leon is caught looking, and Gustaso Ramirez picks up the stolen base. No catcher's indifference there. So Ramirez with the SB getting into scoring position.
Now batter number 3, Luis Lopez.
Gustaso Ramirez, that's his second stolen base on the season. And here's Luis Lopez. He pinch hit in the 5th inning and grounded out. Lopez is 0 for 1. Takes that one up high, 1 ball and 1 strike. Luis Lopez, another player having a difficult time at the plate in the early part of the year, only 1 for 6. He foul tips that one. Now hitting 167. Leuzinger Olympians, if they're going to get into the playoff hunt, they will pretty much have to win here on out, and there are teams that they might have a chance of beating. They have home and away against Inglewood, have a home and away with Morningside and Beverly Hills. They're going to have to put it together a little better with the bats. And they're going to have to start scoring early if they're going to be successful and have a chance to get back into the playoff hunt. Swung on and missed. Ricky Barber with the strikeout swinging. That's 6 strikeouts on the day for Ricky Barber. 2 away, Leuzinger down to their last out. Miguel Melgoza will be the batter.
25, Miguel Melgoza.
It's now 32 strikeouts on the year for Ricky Barber. That one gets away, and base runner will move up, gets away from Anthony Caro. That'll be a pass ball. Gustaso Ramirez will moving down to third, where you say they're not going to pay any attention to him, but when you've got an ERA such as Ricky Barber has on the mound, you definitely, in a 9-0 ball game, you'd like to do whatever you can to keep him from scoring. And Melgoza watches that one into the strike zone, 1 ball and 1 strike. Miguel Melgoza had those 2 big home runs the other day. Quiet today. 0 for 2, grounded to short, grounded to second. Ricky Barber trying to go 5-0. And that just misses low, 2 balls and 1 strike. Hawthorne Cougars will be in the Coachella Valley tournament, and then getting into league play, they'll play Centennial, home and away. We'll have the game on the 27th. That's on the outside corner, 2-2. They'll play North Torrance, home and away, and we'll have the ball game here on May 4th. And then it's Yankees, Red Sox, Mets, and Braves on May 8th and 10th as they will play the season showdown against Redondo Beach. And we'll have the home game. We may even have the road game for you. 2-2 right here. It's fouled off. So the season, Ocean League season, you couldn't have scripted it any better. It's going to come down to that last week. And you pretty much figure that Redondo and Hawthorne are both going to be in the playoffs, but still a definite advantage at going in number 1, and they will have to play first at Redondo and right here. Here's the 2-2. Swung on, and it's fouled off. Hits him while still in the batter's box, so Melgoza stays alive. And the Hawthorne Cougars will have their work cut out for them. They'll be challenged in that tournament. And then Compton Centennial, North Torrance, which will definitely not be easy, playing against North Torrance, the North Torrance Saxons, and then season finale with Redondo. 2-2, hit in the air to the infield. Should end the ball game. Who's going to take it? Eddie Arciniega with a call and the catch, and the Hawthorne Cougars are 15-1. They're 8-0 in league play, and they have trounced their rivals from Rosecrans by a final of 9-0. In the 7th inning, no runs, a hit, no errors, 1 left. They shake hands, but they fight hard. Final score, Hawthorne Cougars 9, Leuzinger Olympians nothing. Well, this ball game seemed to get away from the Leuzinger Olympians by the 3rd inning. It had the makings of what looked like was going to be a pretty good pitcher's duel between Ricky Barber and Charles Boyden, who Ricky Barber, you know the sort of year he's been having. Charles Boyden hadn't been having that bad a year on the mound, but it was that 3rd inning that did them in. That 3rd inning where He hit a batter with the bases loaded, and he walked actually the second inning, hit a batter with the bases loaded and walked a batter with the bases loaded. That gave Hawthorne their first 2 runs. Then the third inning, when Joe Romero was thrown out of the ball game for arguing a close play at first base, umpire Alonzo Lenar throws him out. And that proved to be the undoing for the Leuzinger Olympians. It was 5-0. Still somewhat doable, but then again 3 unearned runs scoring in the bottom of the 5th. Era in center field, Jose Ibarra getting in the way of his left fielder. And that basically spelled the doom for the Leuzinger Olympians. So Leuzinger drops now to 5-10. They're 2-6. They have 6 more league games to go and a chance to try to get back into a possible playoff spot, as there will be 3 teams that will make the playoffs in the Ocean League. The Hawthorne Cougars will be in the playoffs. They are now 15-1, 8-0, and it's just a matter of can they hold off North Torrance and Redondo the last week of the season to do it, so they would go in as Ocean League champions and get a little better seeding in the CIF Southern Section Division II baseball playoffs. Winning pitcher this afternoon is Ricky Barba. He's now 5-0. His ERA came in at 0.27. That's actually going to shrink. Charles Boyden gets the loss. An unfortunate loss for him. He's now 2-5. So we want you to be with us. Have a happy little spring break and be with us on the 27th when we will be right back here at Hawthorne Field, when it'll be the Hawthorne Cougars taking on Compton Centennial on the 27th. This is Dave Marks speaking for everyone at Channel 22, Lawndale Community Cable, saying happy spring break, everybody, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a good one.